This is Domini, aka Sleepy from Espresso Mutt, and today I'm going to be doing a quick gameplay test on how to use items in puzzles. Now, this video actually took me longer to make than I thought it would, partially because of famous last words, and they went a lot like, wow, this code seems really simple, I wonder if I can make it more complex, more interesting, and well, it did work, but it led to a lot of issues that I'm going to bring up in the second half of the video. So usually when it comes down to testing code, it's usually easier to start with the bare minimum idea and then build up from there. So for here, I had a slot for the item, a button to test the item, and then an inventory to hold things. So for here, I'm going to insert the blue block, and I can still click on it and go, hey, do you want to pick it up? Yes or no? And for now, I'm going to say no because I haven't tested it. If I hit the button, nothing's going to happen. Go into the inventory, attach the red block, swap it out, test it, and it works. As I had said, this was a very simple idea, but it did allow me to think of certain things such as, well, do I want players to be able to pick up the item if they made a mistake? Do I want them to have to go into the inventory all the time to put something in? Likewise, it was just a matter of thinking, how is this going to be solved, which for here is basically telling the button every time the red slot is in there, it's correct. So after having the basic code done, it was a matter of trying to decide what would make this more complex and interesting. So there's a second slot here with an actual box this time. There's a third item in the inventory. And if I use an item, a number is going to appear on top. If I hit the button though, nothing works. I can try the red block, which worked before. Another number appears, but it doesn't work. Now, one way the player can technically solve this is just randomly putting in blocks, but another hint is in the button itself. So there's a flower here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. Try the blue block, swap it out, and 5 plus 3. Hit the button, and it works. Now, what makes this a lot more complex, or at least it did for me, was because I suddenly had a lot more variables to count for the extra slot, the extra item, and I was trying to keep into account different things like the numbers themselves. This took up a lot of time and a lot more logistics to figure out, and while I do think it's worth it, it was definitely a lot more than I was thinking of in terms of this video. As a parting note, you'll notice that my art here is very much on the blocky, clunky side, and that's partially intentional. When it comes to doing gameplay tests, you don't really need something fancy, you just need something that works and can help you figure out where things are going to go. So now that the coding is done, I could easily swap out this whole box thing for a circuit board, and I could replace these blocks for fuses or something. At that point, this becomes a puzzle about figuring out which fuses are going to work and which ones are going to overpower the box. But that just comes down to experimentation, what works better for your game. Of course, there's a lot more approaches you can take with items and puzzles, but this is the most recent experiment we've been doing. For our next video, we'll probably look into something like the touchpad or the broken puzzle, but until then, thank you very much for watching and feel free to leave a comment below.